Hey guys, so like it is part 2 of the series of exposing the swamp. This video, I'm going to expose Donald Trump's Goldman Sachs cabinet. Donald Trump's cabinet was richer than a third of U.S. households combined. Donald Trump's cabinet consists of multi-millionaires and billionaires who donated to Donald Trump to get something in return that is actually a quote from Donald Trump. These billionaires are in there so Donald Trump can give these guys every single break in the book in terms of taxes. This is what they're doing with the healthcare bill right now, is it is one big giant tax cut for the billionaires and cuts to Medicare that, quite frankly, Americans desperately need to ensure that they're adequately covered. Donald Trump also thinks that the poor and those that are not as fortunate are stupid because they're born poor. Donald Trump hates poor people. He thinks if you have money, it means you're smart. This guy is a classless douchebag, and he does not give a shit about you. And you should realize that after I read this quote, back in 1998, Donald Trump talked about how much he hated poor people. My entire life, I've watched politicians bragging about how poor they are, how they came from nothing, how poor their parents and grandparents were, and I said to myself, if they can stay so poor for so many generations, maybe this is the kind of person who wants to be elected in a higher office. How smart can they be? They're morons. Donald Trump said that about poor people. He thinks that if you're not privileged like him, if you're not born into wealth, then you're automatically dumb. No matter that it takes a lot more brains to be very successful when you've literally had nothing. And Donald Trump thinks that $1 billion is a small inheritance, a small loan from his father. Donald Trump is a member of the gang. He is good friends with Hillary Clinton. He donated to the Clinton Foundation. The Clinton Foundation kept Donald Trump's cash that he donated over there. Steve Mnuchin is a former Democrat, just like Donald Trump is a Democrat, a closet liberal who goes into the Republican Party for sinister reasons because they have dumb, moronic, brainwashed, redneck supporters that are too so easy to manipulate because these people are full of fear, hate, and prejudice. And Donald Trump's campaign is literally devoid of fact and devoid of actual policy. And Donald Trump's new head of the Treasury, former Goldman Sachs banker, Steven Mnuchin, is good friends of Hillary Clinton, just like Donald Trump is. He used to work for Goldman Sachs, as you see, and he donated to Hillary Clinton before 2000, 2007, and Mnuchin donated to Barack Obama. The guy who Donald Trump supposedly hates, his good buddy Mnuchin donates to Obama. It was Goldman Sachs, by the way, that gave money to Obama and the Democrats so they would not prosecute the executives after the rigged and scripted 2008 election in which Obama, the 44th person to become president, becomes president 44 years after MLK died. I can post that video in the description tab. But Steve Mnuchin is good buddies with George Soros. He was a partner of George Soros. George Soros is good friends of Donald Trump. They're good globalist buddies. George Soros invested in one of Donald Trump's Chicago skyscrapers. Trump is good friends with Mnuchin, friends with George Soros. George Soros invests in Donald Trump's own projects, also in one of his hotels in Hawaii. Steve Mnuchin also said he took part in that. Also, the appointment of Anthony Scaramucci as White House Communication Director. He donated to Obama before, and Anthony Scaramucci attacked Donald Trump on Twitter in the past and on Fox Business, and he loved Hillary Clinton. I will provide that link for you in the description. He used to be an Obama donor back in 2008, a member of the gang. Anthony Scaramucci, Donald Trump's latest Goldman Sachs appointment as communications director, not even qualified for that. Donald Trump thinks that if you're rich, no matter if you inherited it, you're automatically a winner in his eyes. So that is the case with all of his cabinet appointees. Yet another Goldman Sachs appointment. Dina Powell, a Goldman Sachs partners with deep ties to Democrats and Republicans, is one of Donald Trump's economic advisors, a Goldman Sachs partner, grand master plan, this time to tank the economy for their benefit. And Gary Cohn used to be president of Goldman Sachs before he was appointed to be Donald Trump's chief economic advisor. He used to work at Goldman Sachs, director of the National Economic Council. This Goldman Sachs swamp guy is who Donald Trump is considering to run the private Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank that controls the money supply, lends it to the government with interest. Goldman Sachs receives free money from the Federal Reserve, and they rape consumers with usuric interest rates in the open market. This is who Trump thinks should run the Federal Reserve. And in March, Donald Trump hired a Goldman Sachs banker, yet another one. It was Billy Donovan, I believe it is, Jim Donovan, to serve the number 2 position in the Secretary Department. Yet another Goldman Sachs banker. Donald Trump himself does own stock in Goldman Sachs. He does own stock in Raytheon, manufacturing of bombs, which they used in the Syrian strike. And Donald Trump owns stock in the company that is building the Keystone Pipeline. So it's every special interest after special interest. Donald Trump is here to make himself rich. We have Steve Bannon, a member of the alternate right, Breitbart News. He used to work with Goldman Sachs. He was an investment banker. This guy is a self-described Leninist. Yet another guy with all the Russian connections. This is about Donald Trump's unresolved debts with real estate investments in Russia and dealings with the Russian mob. So Russia is real. Jeff Sessions met with Russia. What is this guy? Matt Flynn talked about getting rid of sanctions with Russia. And we have a Goldman Sachs banker, Walter Clayton. Trump tapped to head the SEC. Oh, great. So the SEC is run by Goldman Sachs. I have predicted the economic crash to happen in 2019. Once Goldman Sachs and the billionaire class get their tax breaks in, this crash is going to happen super quick. The only reason why the crash is not happening sooner, it is because it's taking a while for the tax breaks to pass. But 2019, we will have the economic crash. Donald Trump hires Goldman Sachs to run the SEC and rig the economy and set the rules in favor of the big banks. And Donald Trump is considering to have Goldman Sachs replace Janet Yellen in the Federal Reserve Bank. It is all these Goldman Sachs connections. That is another reason, just shows you how rigged our government is. It is the big banks that run the government, mark my words. It is all rigged by the numbers too, believe it or not. Because in gematria, John McCain equals 44. There were 44 prior presidents. A self-described birther. Obama is not a citizen. Blah, blah, blah. Goldman Sachs and simple gematria equals 44. Gary Cohn, the top economic advisor, equals 46. Trump, born in the year 46. The Matrix, deception, and chaos equals 46. Is what's going to happen when Trump and Goldman Sachs will set off the next economic crash. Donald Trump said he hoped that there would be an economic crash in 2006 because he owns real estate, and when you're a banker, when you're a billionaire like Trump in real estate, you want to buy up these houses on pennies on the dollar. Stephen Mnuchin equals 54. Jesuit order equals 54. Stephen Mnuchin's birthday on December 27th. He was appointed, he assumed office on February the 13th. The amount of time between his birthday, December 21st, and February the 13th is 54 days. And his full name, his name gematria equals 54. Jesuit order equals 54. And Donald Trump was born on the 6th month, on the 14th day. That multiplies to 84. Jesuit equals 84. It is Jesuits that run the government. Gary Cohn, another name, the amount of time between he assumed office and his August 27th birthday is super significant. The amount of time is 147 days. The Republican Party equals 46. When you don't include the end day, it is just 146. 4 months and 24 days. When you don't include the end day, that multiplies to 96. Freemason equals 96. You see how they set this up by the numbers? Steve Bannon, a member of the Zionist gang, Trump's first full year in office, he is going to turn 64 years old. Vladimir Putin is 64 years old right now. Israel's Zion Synagogue of Satan equals 64. It's interesting that Steve Bannon and gematria equals 131. The Freemasons, Zionists, and Jesuits, central banking 131. He used to be a banker himself. Goldman Sachs and the big banks work hand in hand with the Federal Reserve. Never mind this A right here, and this one, A and S both equal 1, and Pythagorean gematria. There was a video clip that I wanted to play too that is supposed to be here somewhere. I had a CNN video clip that I needed to play just to show you how hypocritical Trump is. But this is it for the video. Goldman Sachs runs the government. Trump just surrounded his cabinet with the swampiest of the bunch. There was a side video I wanted to play right here. I just hope it's here. Well, I can't find the video right now, but Donald Trump, okay, this may be the video. Play the video. Come on, CNN. There's another CNN link. I know I had it here somewhere. Try it again. Play. Play. Come on. Fake news, CNN, just play. do this. Let's do this. I want to see what you guys got.
Want to win free movie tickets? Grab a 50-cent Frosty from Wendy's and take a sweet selfie. Then share it using these hashtags for a chance to win. We're giving away thousands of tickets every week. So grab a 50-cent Frosty. Available for a limited time. Only at Wendy's.
Marks. Get set.
Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, okay?
Horrible garbage quality. Wanting to play this
I couldn't be more on.
All we need is skip to the fucking end of the video.
Honored to serve the president-elect. I've had the opportunity to work with him through the...
There's Anthony Scaramucci right there. Some people blocked him from getting a job in the cabinet. You see,
campaign.
I wanted to show you. See, it took so fucking long. See that? Exactly a year before he was inaugurated. That's really funny. That was no coincidence. But the numbers too. It was on a date.
He had $1 million at very favorable rates from Citibank and from Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, okay?
This guy owns stock in Goldman Sachs too, by the way.
You gotta have a problem there, folks. I mean, we have a problem. Went out to all her friends at the banks, Goldman Sachs, and everybody else, and she said things, WikiLeaks, that just came out.
Oh, fuck. Come on, play. Quit choking under pressure, CNN. Come on, any better? Now, Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, they selected Goldman Sachs people to head the Treasury, and Obama's top donors were Goldman Sachs. I can provide you that link in the description tab. George W. Bush's main donors were financial firms, okay? The people that got us in this mess. Obama's top donor was Goldman Sachs too. And Goldman Sachs hired Obama in order to not prosecute the leading executives. This is what the recurring cycle is. The Republicans put these bankster crooks in there to stage the financial crashes. Then the Democrats are in there to make sure that no major executives get prosecuted, and this cycle is going to repeat itself for sure. So once again, Goldman Sachs, government Sachs, whatever you want to call it, it's the same group of vile swamp monsters in there. Donald Trump pretty much is government Sachs. He wants Goldman Sachs to run the Federal Reserve, the head of the SEC. It's frightening enough, used to be Goldman Sachs. employee, the head of the Treasury, used to be a Goldman Sachs employee. So this may be the most Goldman Sachs administration in history. This is by far the wealthiest cabinet in the history of America. And we are going to see the worst crash happening in 2019. Just brace yourselves. If you don't have a diversified portfolio, then don't invest in stocks right now. Buy low, sell high. I would buy the stocks in 2019 because, quite frankly, the lowest period of the next crash probably going to happen sometime between 2019 and 2020. But get ready, because Goldman Sachs has completed its takeover of the government after Anthony Scaramucci is now the communications director.